feature presentation.
Hi, Eric.
Hey, Ke, how are you? Really nice to meet you.
Yes, very nice meeting you.
I wanted to just start by congratulating you on the film, and also watching this movie, it's almost hard to describe other than it is so transcendent, and it reminds you why you love movies and how the medium can be so experimental and engaging. I wanted to ask, what were your initial impressions of the screenplay, and did it translate on the page the way that it does so wonderfully and kinetically on the big screen?
When I first read it, I remember reading it at 1 a.m. and I didn't finish until 5. I laughed so hard, I woke up my wife. And by the time she came out, I had tears streaming down my face. And she asked me, are you okay? And I said, I love this script. And I thought the role Wayman was written for me. And reading the script was, honestly, it was one of the happiest reading I've ever done, because for many, many, many years, this is what I wanted, especially when I was in my late teens and early 20s, when I was still acting. But all the scripts that I read at that time only featured Asian characters that were marginalized, that were stereotypical, that had 1 or 2 lines, and some of them didn't even have a character name. And if I'm lucky, they would be featured in a few more pages. I've auditioned for a lot of those, and it was very dispiriting for me at that time, and that's why I decided to step away from acting. There was just nothing out there for an Asian actor at that time. So to come upon this script and to read it, and it was such a beautifully written script, oh my God, it was extraordinary. And I wanted to be a part of this project so bad. And when I auditioned for the Daniels 2 times, not 1 time, 2 times, and I was anxiously waiting by the phone, waiting for that phone call when it did finally ring. And my agent told me that I got the role. Oh my God, that was one of the happiest days in my life. And it was just, I'm so grateful to this day. I'm so grateful to the Daniels for gifting me this moment. I honestly have no idea how I got here. But what I do know is that, a lot of the things that happened in my life, I feel like they did have to happen in the order it did for this special moment to happen. And yeah, I'm so happy, and I'm so proud of our movie.
Yeah, and the way that you're talking about it, I mean, obviously, it's a passionate story. It's very emotional at times. But what I also love about it is the way that these characters are not only in, multiverses, but they're multifaceted in sort of how they evolve over time. When you were reading the script and thinking about Wayman, did you think that, did you have a different perspective on him by the end of it in terms of how he's played over the course of, the 2 hours that we see him on screen?
When I read it, it was really from an objective point of view, not putting myself in there, but just remember falling in love with this character and what he represents. He truly believes in empathy. He's an optimist. He believes in treating people with love and kindness. And I loved him. And I mean, honestly, I thought the role was written for me. And when they offered me the role, I was really nervous, because then the idea of how to play these 3 different versions of Wayman started taking place. And I had no idea. I had a creative meeting, creative talk with the Daniels. They kind of gave me the parameters. And I basically reached deep within me and looking in the past decades of my life, all the ups and downs, all the peaks and valleys, all those life experiences that I had. And I literally poured my entire life into these 3 different characters. And each one of them represents a part of me. For example, Wayman, he's an optimist. And when those times got tough, I would look to him, you know. And when I wanted to give up, I was looking to the Alpha Wayman for courage and for perseverance and trying to be the fighter that I am, you know. So I mean, it was just like, you know, I poured my entire life into these characters, and I hope, you know, I hope the audience can see it. Yeah, it was just wonderful to be on this journey with this character. I'm still, I mean, I still get emotional talking about it because it's such an amazing adventure for me.
Right. And again, like, it is such a rich performance and such a beautifully textured role. And watching it, you know, you understand that I don't think anybody else could have played this part other than you. And I wanted to ask you, you were sort of featured in this wonderful Entertainment Weekly article, and in it you talked about how Crazy Rich Asians and Michelle Yeoh were inspirations for you to come back. What was it about that movie specifically that made you kind of want to get back into acting again?
I mean, it was simple. When I saw that movie, I saw it 3 times in the movie theater, and I cried every single time. Because I cried because it was a beautiful story that featured beautiful characters. But I also cried because I had serious FOMO. Watching all my fellow Asian actors up on the screen, I wished I was up there with them. And it was really then that the idea of getting back to my roots started taking place. It's, you know, I always loved acting. My good friend Jeff B. Cohen, who's my entertainment lawyer, AKA Chunk from the Goonies, he says, no actor willingly gives up acting. It is the best profession in the world. And you know, and I gave it up because, you know, there was nothing for me at that time. So to see, and, you know, of course, you know, a lot has changed, and that's why I'm so grateful that we're seeing the Asian representation that we're seeing now. And me coming back, you know, is anything. I mean, it's a testament to how important not just Asians, but all groups of people to be represented in entertainment. It's until you see yourself up there, you still can't believe that it can happen to you. I mean, gosh, I mean, you know, that movie, Crazy Rich Asians, dared me to pursue acting again. And I just can't imagine how many others like myself are out there, young and old, that shared in the same dream that lay dormant. So if anything, I wish that our movie, you know, does for these dreamers what Crazy Rich Asians did for me. And yeah, I mean, it was just, again, I mean, I don't want to look back, but I want to look forward. And I'm very inspired, and I'm very hopeful where things are going.
Did you talk to Michelle Yeoh about this and your feelings about the film, and obviously her being a cast member in that movie as well?
Absolutely. I remember the first time I met her for our first table read. I went up to her, I gave her a big hug, and I said, Michelle, you are the reason I am here. You are the reason I'm getting back into acting, because of your movie, Crazy Rich Asians. And so to be able to do this movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once, with Michelle means the world to me. And you know, that's why when I first came upon the script, never in my wildest dream did I think that I would get this, that I would be lucky enough. And I'm still processing how I got here, you know. Yeah, it's you know, it's just been an incredible journey. I'm so grateful.
Now, I have to ask you a serious question. What's more challenging to do, eating on camera while delivering exposition, or trying to give yourself fake paper cuts? Because honestly, I've never had such a visceral reaction watching somebody like literally try to, you know, cut themselves with a piece of paper, but do it in a way that is so dynamic.
One is painful, like you said, the paper cut. The other is a big struggle because, yeah, I mean, I had a lot of monologues, and my character Wayman is responsible for, the exposition, for explaining, how this, this whole multiverse works. And I remember, you know, being on the treadmill every single day and just learning the lines over and over and over and over again. And I remember walking on the set and delivering those dialogue, those monologues. Had I not done that homework, I don't think I would have been able to deliver the performance that Daniels wanted, because they kept saying, Ke, say it faster, faster and faster. And I kept going faster and go, no, do it like 5 times faster. And I said, Daniels, I said, if I go any faster, you're not going to be able to understand me. And he goes, exactly, that's what we want, you know. So it was, you know, it was really cool to play Wayman, and also to work with everybody in this movie. Michelle, of course, she's the reason I'm here. James Hong, Jamie Lee Curtis, and being directed by the Daniels. I mean, oh my gosh, it's one of the most amazing adventures of my life.
Are they, when it comes to working with 2 directors, I'm always curious about that dynamic. Are they kind of, you know, of one mind, or are they kind of complementing each other when it comes to, you know, working on set? And again, they seem so creative, where a lot of this movie does seem to be shot in camera with practical effects, and not necessarily thinking about going with, you know, post-production.
No, you know, I was wondering too before I stepped on set. The Daniels, they do share the same mind. I feel like it is one mind. They're both very humble. They both have no egos, and they both always look to each other when giving, you know, directions and suggestions to actors. You know, they're very sweet. You know, if one steps in front, the other one is always behind, and vice versa. And yeah, there were 0 arguments between them. They, you know, not only do they respect each other very much, but they also respect their actors too. It's a very collaborative process. You know, all of us are free to give suggestions, give notes, and it was always, you know, it was always a conversation. And yeah, I mean, and I think, you know, honestly, they freaking did pull off the Mission Impossible. What an amazing movie they wrote and directed it. I'm so, I think I speak for all of us. We're all very proud of this movie.
Are you surprised by how positive the reception has been already, with the movie only getting a limited release, and also, you know, playing at South by Southwest? It really is connecting with people in a way that, you know, it's why we go to the movies, and it is, you know, this experience that's universal but also very specific.
You know, honestly, I was really nervous before our movie debuted. I didn't know what the audience would think. I mean, especially I didn't know what they think about my return to acting. But so far, reading and hearing all these overwhelmingly positive reviews of the movie really brought, you know, I'm very emotional. I'm overwhelmed with emotions. You know, I've cried so many times. Not only them embracing my return, but also to see how our movie, our little movie, affected them. And certainly, I think in what's happened in the last couple of years, it's been so difficult for everybody. So if anything, I hope, first of all, I don't take for granted that all of us are able to return to a movie theater in person. So I hope for a couple of hours, the audiences are able to escape the real world for just a little bit, and then walk away from our movie feeling like they had witnessed a great conversation being had, a conversation about love and family and connection. And I also hope that they continue the conversation from the screen and share with all of their friends about this great message in the movie, which is, you know, we are all entitled to be uniquely ourselves, and to feel simply enough. So yeah, I mean, I'm so, you have no idea how happy I am. I'm really, really happy.
It's an amazing performance, and again, like, watching just the way that the character shifts in, you know, emotion and tone, and how this movie is such a live wire in terms of how the movie comes together. Was there a scene in the script that you were like, I can't wait to see how the Daniels kind of put this together?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember reading, and I think you'll appreciate too. There was a scene between Stephanie Shu's character Joy and Michelle Yeoh's character Evelyn. They're sitting on the sofa, and the script says they sink deep into the sofa. And when I read that, I thought it was for sure it was going to be a CGI. And when I arrived on set and I saw it was practical, they literally built a sofa that allowed them to sink into it. I remember watching it on the monitor and I go, oh my God, that is freaking genius. Like, you don't need visual effects for that. You can do it practically. And when I started in the business, we did everything practical. It was called special effects. We built all those sets. Everything was done practically. And this is what we did in this movie. That's why there was a great sense of familiarity for me. I think we only had like one day of green screen, which is for the bagel stuff. But everything else, it was all there. And we have some shots, of course, CGI enhanced, but we did it on set. And yeah, they are, that's why when you have, we didn't have a big budget and we didn't have the luxury of shooting this movie, over a span of 5 months. So when you have that limitation, that's when you really have to get creative. And a lot of times it is for the better.
Now I have to wrap, but I wanted to ask you before we're done, is there anything that you kept prop wise? I know, obviously a lot of people will be talking about that amazing fanny pack sequence.
Wait. Look at this. Look at this.
Nice.
This is the fanny pack that I brought home.
Yeah.
I had to practice. And this is about 6 to 7 feet long, fully extended. And for me to practice, I kept swinging this thing in my house. Imagine everywhere I go, to the kitchen, to the living room, to the bedroom, I was swinging it everywhere. And I broke a lot of things.
Right.
My wife wasn't too happy about that, but at least the fight sequence looked good.
I can't believe you did it in your own home. I mean, that is just dedication right there.
I did, because I wanted to perfect it. I wanted it to, and I think it all goes, it's also because I haven't done this in a long time.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure that I don't suck, I don't disappoint. And I did put a lot of work into prepping this, because, I mean, a big reason is, in life, you don't get a lot of opportunities like this. And when it does come, you have to, really work hard and be grateful. And that's what I am. I'm grateful to the Daniels for gifting me this really special role in this movie. So
it's an amazing film, and your performance, I cannot wait to see this movie again. I feel like audiences have missed out on so many great moments that could have been, and it kept making me think, growing up watching, you with the Goonies and Indiana Jones, and now this, and thinking, wow, like, this is truly a wonderful performance that just, again, captivates, and you're so dynamic. And again, like, you could have fooled me. Like, I thought, like, like this was just like, riding a bicycle. Like, you just literally did it every day, and the physicality of the performance is there, but the emotion is there. And yeah, it's such a wonderful movie and such a warm film, and again, also so hard to describe because it is so many things all at once. So.
Yeah. No, thank you. I really appreciate it. It is a very special movie, and I really hope the audience will go and watch it in a movie theater, because I think that's how movies should be experienced and enjoyed, to watch with your friends and family, with your community. And this movie has a great message.
Absolutely.
So yes, please go watch it wherever it's available to you.
Thank you so much. I just want to mention one last thing, or ask you one last thing really quickly. The chapstick that you eat in one scene, what was that made out of?
I don't know if I should tell you or not. It's not chapstick for sure.
Right.
It's made out of chocolate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah. So and it was really fun to do. Yeah, that's a great scene. I really love it. And I mean, oh my God, it's so. I mean, all the improbable stuff that you have to do to verse jump. It's amazing. It's so inventive and fun. The Daniels really come up with some, fun and original stuff. That I'll say.
Oh, it's amazing. And again, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I really, really appreciate it. It's so much fun to talk about a movie that clearly you love, and then like watching it, it's just something to truly behold. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.